What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate Reverse Ranch No Hate Show. I was watching the Jermaine Franklin Dillian Whyte face off. Now, I'm not interested in this fight. If the fight turns out to be a proper scrap, then so be it. But I'm just not really feeling it. I didn't feel the face off. The face off, doesn't determine what's going to happen in the ring. But what other people find entertaining to me, a lot of it I just find childish. One thing is for sure. I remember when he first was talking about making this fight, at least publicly. This was a fight where Dillian Whyte was supposedly making his American debut. Okay. Nobody knows who Jermaine Franklin is over here in the States. He's not well known. Okay. So he's going over to the UK for this fight with Dillian. So Dylan, all you Americans come over here, blah blah blah, and whatever, and just talking. Dylan kept talking about how Dylan's the only one talking about being a street thug and from the hood and this and that, and just talking, being Dylan. But Dylan is also saying things like how everybody he fight got touched. They all know they've been in the fight when they fought him. Even fights he lost. Not Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury had an easy night. And people, you gotta understand, Fury's just, shut up. You gotta understand. When you, are just not on the same level as the fighters that you claim you are on. Now, you choose another fight with a fighter where you're saying all the guys that I was trying to listen to him, that I was trying, all the big boys are tied up. No, that's not true. Okay? I remember watching the fight when there was an interview where he was called out by, what's his name? Daniel Dubois. Dean Whyte said that was disrespectful. Remember that? It was disrespectful. And basically, the point that he was trying to say was Daniel Dubois is not accomplished enough to fight Dillian Whyte. And for him to call out Dillian Whyte, it's like, come on, man. Dillian Whyte's on a higher level than you. So it's not okay to fight Daniel Dubois, but it's okay to fight Jermaine Franklin. You could have gotten a fight with Daniel Dubois if you wanted it. Because I'm pretty sure Daniel Dubois, he wants that fight. He already made it clear. He definitely called you out. He said the big boys were all booked. I mean, I think people would have rather seen F.A. Ajabo versus Daniel Dubois. Versus Dillian Whyte. Now, let me say this for Jermaine Franklin. I'm not one of those people that hides behind popularity. Oh, if you're popular, then it makes more sense. No. He's taking this fight. Now, even to say he's dangerous, but then you sit there and say how he's not on your level. I forget the guy's name that he said. He said the guy's like 60 years old and, you could barely beat that guy. All these things. Then he turns around and says the guy is undefeated. He's a tough guy. Listen. For you to criticize your opponent, put your opponent down, and this is any fighters. But then you talk about how you was trying to get the fight. Well, if the guy's not on your level, the guy hasn't done anything, nobody knows him, all this, then what's the purpose of going after a guy like that? So you say that, but then if somebody says you're cherry picking, what can you say? And then you're trying to give us this excuse about all the big boys are booked and tied up. No. You don't want to fight Daniel Dubois. You don't. You just don't. Now, as far as Jermaine Franklin's chances in this fight, seeing both guys fight, I think the best thing for Jermaine Franklin in this fight is to not let Dillian dictate the pace. Jermaine Franklin dictate the pace, and basically whatever happens, happens. I've seen them both fight. and and when I look at both guys, Dylan's the favorite to win, but at the same time, you know, Dylan's vulnerable for the uppercut. Dylan's vulnerable to get hit, period, because Dylan has a tendency to get careless in the ring. Now, whatever happens, happens, but the fight itself, I'm not hyped for it. We'll see what happens. Boxing this past weekend, was atrocious. Boxing this weekend was ridiculous. Now, let me, move on to Hasim Rahman Jr. I forget the guy name that knocked him out. I really do. Shannon Briggs was in the guy's corner. And I went back and I watched him film. This was his first boxing match. He fought an MMA guy or something like that. So, I mean, he's been, dabbling with fighting. He was 326 pounds. Hasim was 226. Now, for all the people that's talking about Jake Paul would have did this, Jake Paul would have did that, you need to shut up, and Jake Paul needs to shut up, because I give Hasim Rahman credit for this. At least he got in there with the guy. He didn't pull, oh, you got to lose weight, you got to come down and wait. He just got in there with the guy. Now, do I think that this was a cherry pick, that he felt like, okay, this guy has no experience? Yeah. He said the same thing about Jake. I got more fights than Jake. Jake don't have my experience, and so this, Jake got more fights than this guy. I forget the damn guy's name, but listen, if you saw the fight, then this is why. Like I told you guys, Jake Paul picked Hasim Rahman Jr. for a reason. Not because he's a great competitor or he felt he was a threat. He saw the vulnerabilities and he saw the weaknesses. You saw, and this was only a 4-round fight. How do you go from fighting Kenzie Morrison to fighting a guy like this in a 4-round fight? He was trying to take the Jake Paul route and fighting guys like this that's really just not an elite level fighter. The guy, he has quick hands for a big guy. He's kind of quick. And Hasim Rahman, I told you, his defense, he's easy to get hit. And basically, Hasim Rahman doesn't know how to slip punches. He stands there, he moves. Then he stands and get flat-footed and just wait to see what you're going to do. He was not trying to be first the majority of the times. He was, repetitive with just throwing one jab or one straight or straight punch. And then when he threw it straight, nothing behind it, no combination punching. He was reaching. He got dropped. And basically, third round, fourth round comes, the guy's tired. You can see he's the one stalking, but he's not doing much of anything. And Hasim Rahman Jr. was trying to play it safe. His dad's clearly telling him, we need these next 2 rounds. And there's no way Hasim Rahman Jr. could think that he was winning that fight by any stretch of the mind. So he ends up just playing it safe and trying to stay away in the last round. Now, when I tell you guys he's not an elite level fighter, but because his record was like 13-1 or 14-1 or whatever it was, well, people looked at that and said, well, he got more fights than Jake. So when Jake starts talking, going into business for himself, and look, like I said, as far as him marketing himself, and the world is shady, people are liars, so you can't get mad at him for just doing what everybody else do. You just got to realize, like, for me, I'm cut from a different cloth, and so are other people, where we're straight up about what we see. Well, that backfired on him. Hasim, I mean. So with Jake doing what he's doing, it's one of these things where, whether he was just there just to watch the fight, he was sitting with KSI, or whether he was, he said that, according to him, that Hasim would never get this fight, right? If he don't accept it, he'll never get the fight again, whatever, right? But pretty much, if anything, the vulnerabilities are still there. There was times when you had to literally, like, you could see Hasim walking, hands down too low, and at the very last second, pull his hands back and just kind of stand there. Like, the guy is still on a novice level. Hasim, he's a guy that you look at and you almost can say he has potential, but not quite. Like you just see, he's just not getting better as a fighter. And for you to lose with a guy, I don't care how big he is. You lost to a guy. If you were a world-class fighter, you would have beat this guy. I mean, hell, let's be real. Even Oscar De La Hoya had an exhibition with Shaquille O'Neal. So, at the end of the day, just saying, what's Oscar? Freaking 150, 60 pounds, whatever it is now. But bottom line, that's why Jake picked Hasim. Because he knows Hasim is not that good. I don't trust his conditioning. He's very limited in everything. Head movement, head speed, foot speed, ring IQ. Okay? He was trying to fight back when the guy was loading up on him. But, I mean, even in trying to fight back, there was no poise. It was just, oh, shit, I'm in the fight. I got to swing. And he was getting caught by a big 326-pound guy who was throwing punches faster than he was. So, this is where, in boxing, you don't want people thinking that, don't mistake Hasim Rahman Jr. as a world-class fighter. Because he's not. And, this is not the shit on the boy, but he's not. Plain and simple. He's a guy who fights, who has fought guys that's not that good. He beat them. He lost to Kenzie Morrison. And let's just be real, okay? Kenzie Morrison is trying to get a fight with Jake Paul. Jake Paul doesn't want that fight. That's why he picked the loser. It's as simple as that. So, it was terrible. I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the fights. It was just a terrible... this was atrocious, man. So, and, it is what it is. I will say this. I watched the interview. I'm not interested in the fight between Fury and Chisora. Chisora referred to Fury as bipolar, and so have I, and so have other people. And he said it to his face. He called him bipolar, and I'm bipolar. You're the one got to get there with somebody bipolar, not me. Making his little joke, and then he's, saying that he has a bipolar disorder. I said the guy act like he's bipolar because he just makes no sense. 1 minute he's saying something one way, and then he completely flips it around and goes a different direction. Well, anyway, regardless to all of that, there's some things I saw. The one thing about this interview with Derek Chisora, I will say, is it was cool to see him not give typical answers to the interviewer. Just say what you think the public want to hear, or say what this person wants you to hear. And interviews to me are cringeworthy because the interviewers are always just asking a bunch of random shit that just really nothing really that you care to even hear the answer to. So, Derek did that correct in my opinion. And also, even like when he brought up Anthony Joshua's name and said people think that you'd give Tyson Fury a better fight than Anthony Joshua. You know what Derek Chisora didn't do? He didn't sit there and try to piss all over Anthony Joshua and say things about him, and he basically just kept it about him and Fury, and he's just coming to win. Bottom line, he's not sitting there getting into these questions and answers and thinking what should I say. No, he's answering. I feel like he's answering how he really felt, and that was refreshing to see, because most of these guys just answer questions with what they think the public want to hear. Now, he also made a comment, the interview, about Deontay Wilder crying in the ring and saying that Deontay was feeling it because some guy he named, how he'll never know what it's like to be a father, and he people don't know what we go through as fighters. Didn't Derek Chisora, if you guys saw the video or not, well, for those who saw, if you didn't see it, check it out. If you did see it, didn't he say the same thing Eric said? People don't know what we go through in the ring. Well, stay the fuck out the ring. Because this is the fucking hurt business. It's like a motherfucker become a fireman. All of a sudden the fire breaks out. They call you and you say, I'm not going up in there. Motherfucker, that's what you... Nobody's telling you to go up there and go up there to die. No. Your job is to put the fire out and save the people. That's what you signed up for. This is the hurt business, man. And that's my guy. He ain't gonna never know he had to be a father. Emotional and shit. Now, I don't know. Maybe that beating that Fury gave him did fucking make him worse, because he was already a weirdo to me. But this is what I've been saying. You sign up for something, you know what's at stake. This is why I tell you motherfuckers. Y'all can talk all this shit you want about Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd Mayweather is smarter than all of those fighters before him. And probably will be more than the motherfuckers after him. Like Floyd said, I agree 110%. He said, man, they cheer you today, they boo your ass tomorrow. When you no longer fighting, they're going to be cheering and booing somebody else. That's it. So what is. I'm not fighting for these fans. I fight for me. They come to see me lose. You remember how Muhammad Ali himself said, 100% of the people come to see me. All right? He said 99% of them come to see me. 100% of them come to see me get beat. So Ali wasn't always on people's favorite fighters list. Bottom line. And people take it like, because when they're the fanboys take it as you're ragging on a fighter, which I don't care. Everybody's going to say what he wants anyway. But this is what I'm talking about. Wilder's talking about mental health issues a lot. Maybe he has mental health issues. Maybe he's being evaluated all along. Maybe he is seeing a therapist. Who knows? But when these fighters are saying things and keep harping on something and then wanting pity from the fans, this is what makes me laugh about that situation, though. You see how fanboys are? You guys made fun of Anthony Joshua for having a meltdown and talked about him being unprofessional and how he reacted to Usyk winning. He's a fucking human being, right? It doesn't work for AJ that way, though, right? Then he walks. He realizes he was wrong. Okay, he comes back. Because it don't make a difference if somebody said something to him and he decided to come back. So what? Look at Andrew Galata. That motherfucker quit in the middle of a fight. Was shoving his manager and everybody. Pushing everybody off him. Y'all didn't bury Andrew Galata for that shit. And he was literally shoving his manager. Everybody. Referee, don't touch everybody. Walked around, bald in his face, and he didn't want to fucking fight. Hit Riddick Bowe low on purpose countless times. On purpose. So, yeah. Anyways. But you guys made fun of him for that. He comes back in. He apologizes. He says some things that it's like, you can see the weakness. Even just to sit here and say, I'm not a 12-round fighter. I'm 18 stone. You just sat here and told the world and any eligible opponent, I'm not a 12-round fighter. You're letting people know, I'm not. This right here won't let me be a 12-round fighter. This. Not this. Not this. Not this. Okay? Not this. This will not let me be a 12-round fighter. That's what you sat here and told the world. But, yes, he had his meltdown. Fury calls him out because he knows easy pickings right now. We got him where we want him. You made fun of him. That's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. But just saying, I want to bring it to your attention. But you felt sorry for Wilder? Or compassion for Wilder? Because he broke down and cried after he won a fight? All emotional acting and shit? And I'm sitting there looking at him like, this motherfucker sitting here crying. What the fuck is wrong with the boy? He won. Emotional. Even before when he said he was hurt, somebody playing my emotions. Shit that women say. Boy, don't play with my emotions. You know I love you. Just shit that, just really emotional, feminine type vibes. And I feel I said it way before Derek. Did I not, y'all? And if we don't know what you go through, well, not me, because I know what the fuck. I do this shit. But just say it. People don't know, oh, you fighters are this, and we put our life. Well, stay the fuck out the ring. Because that's what you leave on the line. Being a fucking fighter. You risk your health. That's why you get paid multi-millions of fucking dollars. Firemen don't get paid multi-million dollars. Police officers don't get paid multi-million dollars. These truckers that got to go up steep fucking winding mountains with no fucking rail guard don't get paid millions of fucking dollars. Simple. Jobs where your life is on the fucking line easily. You see these motherfuckers out in the street directing traffic. Then one day you drive up the street and his helmet and his vest is resting on the fucking cross where he got fucking ran over and killed. And that's a risk. And they don't get millions of dollars. You do as being a boxer if you reach that level. And you have. So all that soft shit crying for what? You won the fucking fight. This is what I'm saying. Man, boxing has become such a fucking joke. I just don't understand when I sit here and look around at what's going on. How all these people see what's happening to boxing, but how many of them actually care to bring that shit back to prominence to say, nah, man, we have to restore boxing. We have to bring back and restore order because this is bullshit. I just thought it was pretty interesting. Just certain things about the interview, not the whole interview, just certain things, bits and pieces. And it was absolutely nothing to really talk about this weekend, so it was just like, yeah. Not looking forward to any of those fights, to be honest with you. Had a card full of YouTubers on and everything, and the Zone's putting this on and everything. Like I said, these guys is a lane for it because people are watching it. Hey, kudos to them, man. But the sad part is people just see guys in the ring with gloves on and calling them boxers. So they don't know the difference between Dean the Great and Terrence Crawford. You understand me? They don't understand the difference between, Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. It's all the same. They're boxers. Huh? They're all just the same. To these YouTubers, to these newbies, okay, to these casuals. I really don't care who wins between Chisora and Fury. I really don't. It's tiring hearing these guys talking and saying all the things that they say and then end up fighting someone that we don't want to see them fight. We all know we want to see the Usyk Fury fight or whatever. Me personally, I've gotten to the point, like I said, I don't even care anymore. I mean, I never cared to where it bothers me. Never. None of this stuff bothers me. None of it. But just to speak on what's going on in boxing and hear these fighters say one thing and then do something completely different. And then speak it about a fight as if the world wants to see it. This is what I hope happened. Whether it happens or not, I don't see it happening because I just think he gets pummeled. But I hope that Del Boy gets lucky and knock Fury the fuck out. Why? Because out of all of those guys, I think Del Boy would actually have the fucking heart to want to keep making big money. And of course, if that happened, it would be a rematch, right? But I'm just so sick and tired of I just get bored with when I hear these fighters talking all this. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. Knowing damn well they're trying to take shortcuts. They're trying to take advantage and fight guys where they're not 100% purposely. And then the whole mind fuckery. Well, as a fighter, you're never 100%. Well, what's your fucking problem? What's wrong with you? You won your last fight, and it was easy work. AJ didn't. And he had a meltdown that you saw. You saw. And that's what made you say, now is the right time to fight him. And then turn around and say, we've been trying to make this fight for you. No, stop that shit. You the fucking one sat there and said to the world, I ain't fighting nobody unless I get a boatload of money. Remember, way before the I ain't fighting unless you give me $500 million. Yeah, you didn't want to fight AJ. You didn't want to. And that's when the AJ was still unified. But you didn't want that fight. Nobody care about this. And this is why I'm not doing press about the fight itself. I'm only speaking about really Chisora, what he said and did. But I do, as far as, I would like if he just got lucky, pulled a Rocky Balboa and just duck his head and swing as hard as he ever did in his life. And just Fury just goes out like a light and don't get up. I don't care what happens in the rematch. Yeah, well, it'd be sweet if you beat him twice. But I just for the sake of cherry picking, going wrong. That's what I want to see. Don't care personally. I don't expect Chisora to beat him or even come close, even put up a good fight. I expect him to get pummeled. Okay? But just saying, I would love it. Maybe Fury goes in there and break his fucking hand. Something happens where he can't defend himself properly and he gets beat. I just for the sake of a cherry pick gone wrong, I don't care. That's what I would like to see. So your first blemish on your record didn't come from Wilder, didn't come from Whyte, didn't come from Joshua or Usyk, but of all people, a journeyman in Derek Chisora. So whatever happens, happens. But yeah, I'm not hyped up for that damn fight. I'm really not. And pretty much there's nothing going on in boxing right now that I even really care to talk about. So yeah, just to keep in touch with you guys and keep the videos coming. I try not to stay away so long, but it really is hard to make these videos sometimes. I just don't want to sometimes. What are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? He said, she said. We're still talking about Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. Yeah, when? Now, when? Keep hearing about all these so-called fights, and then, yeah. And in reality, it kicks in. Nobody's going to do anything to change this for the better. And there's always a different source trying to tell you that the fight's on. It's going to happen. But the fighters are not saying the same things. So, fake news, all types of shit. Oh, Errol Spence was drunk. We saw. I don't care. So what? Anyway, talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and boxing sucks right now. I'll catch y'all on the next video.